Hello, I think we're live here. Welcome, everybody. Sorry about that. Little bit of a glitch there. Guys, in the comments, can everybody comment? Let me know where you are. Where are you watching from? Oh, look at that. I'm so excited to do maths. Okay. Can you let me know? We got people in Dubai. Oh, Istanbul. Love it. Love it. Istanbul, Egypt, Dubai, Thailand, Jordan. Oh, I love these places. Istanbul, I was only there a few months ago. Great city. My word, the queues for the Hagia Sophia. Egypt. Oh, I gotta love Egypt. I assume that's hopefully Yusuf there in Egypt. Dubai, Thailand, one of my favorite countries ever. More UAE, Linda there, Shams, Amman, Jordan. I've been to Jordan many, many times. Absolutely love Jordan. Petra, the most amazing place I've ever been. Done some great scuba diving in Aqaba. We've got more Dubai there, Jet Cave, Hassan, Miles, Austria. Very nice. Austria, I like it. We've got somebody there. We've got more Dubai, Polly, Kaylee. We've got Milan. Some great football teams in Milan. We've got UAE. I love Abu Dhabi, Australia. Whoa. I'm very, very impressed. Sharjah, just down the road. Love it. We've got a good crowd in here. I'm not going to try take up too much of your time. It's just gone 7:04 here in the evening here in Dubai. Tunisia, Abu Dhabi, amazing. Look, I've never been to Tunisia, but it is on my wish list. I'm quite excited. Tonight, there's a massive football game on for me tonight where Ireland is playing the Czech Republic. We're trying to qualify for the World Cup, first time in 24 years. So I'm looking forward to watching that tonight. But first, we've got to do some maths, and I want to show you 3 questions tonight on what I strongly believe are coming up on the exam. Now, a little bit about me. I've been a teacher for over 23 years. And I used to be the head of maths at Jess Dubai, probably the leading IB school in the region. Really, really good school. And I'm sure there's some of the Jess students here tonight. Now, I'm an IB examiner, and I specifically marked the SLAA exam last year. Usually I mark IAs, but now I'm on the SLAA papers, so I can see a lot of mistakes every year. But I want to go through 3 questions because I've been teaching the IB. First started teaching the IB in 2007, which I'm sure is right before most of you guys were actually born. Okay, so I want to go through some 3 quick key questions. I'm going to share my screen now. I'm going to share my Figma with you guys now. So let's get this shared right away. Hopefully, now you can see my Figma. I don't know if you ever used Figma. It's brilliant. It's free. There's a paid version, but really, really, really good. Okay, so I'm hoping now you can see there's my little Desert Maths logo. And I hope as well, guys, I'll have to drop in the chat my Instagram and TikTok for you guys. I need some followers. I'm such a noob when it comes to our TikTok. The video will definitely be available after the podcast, absolutely for sure. And I'll try and make many more. Okay, so let's make sure. I hope you guys now can see this very crystal clear. Okay, now the first question I want us to look at is reciprocal graphs. Okay, reciprocal graphs comes up every single year, and this is our basic reciprocal graph here, where y equals like 1 over x. That's a very basic. We're not going to get something that simple in our IB, unfortunately. Okay, so let's have a look at a couple of questions. Super, super important questions for you guys tonight. Okay, now I hope this is going nicely, this YouTube live. Because I usually use Zoom, but I was recommended try some YouTube live. So hopefully that's easy for you guys to connect. Right. Okay. Now I can see some comments. You're in grade. I got somebody from grade 10. Always useful. Always useful. Some of this stuff, if you're especially doing extended maths, grade 10 could be really, really useful for you. Okay, let's have a look at this. The function fx is defined by 2x plus 4 over 3 minus x. I hope you can see that nice and clear. Now, people often get mistaken, like, what's all this? This is like the terms and conditions of the question. Now, it tells us here x is an element of any real number. So x can basically be anything. But there's one thing x cannot be, and x is not allowed equal 3. No way can it equal 3. Why? Because at the bottom here, it's 3 minus x. And don't worry, guys, I will send anyone who's registered, I will send you all these questions in PDF form for you to look at. So x cannot equal 3. No way, because at the bottom, if we had 3 minus 3, we would have a big fat 0 on the denominator, and that's undefined error, not happening. Now, this is what they always ask. Guaranteed, they'll ask about asymptotes on the exam. They want to know what is here in this question, the vertical asymptote. This is a question from 2021. Now, we've got a real gimme because I can see our domain up here. X is not allowed equal 3. So that means our asymptote is x equals 3. Now, here's a top tip for me as an examiner. It says write down the equation of the vertical asymptote. Now, a lot of people last year when I was examining, they would put something like this. They just put the number 3 down. Oh no, x equals 3. That is the equation of the vertical asymptote. So if they give us the vertical asymptote, that's a guaranteed 1 mark in the bag, because in the domain, they've already told us that x does not equal 3. So that's our vertical asymptote, x equals 3. Now, this is what they'll always ask every exam ever. The horizontal asymptote. Little bit trickier. And this is all to do with the coefficients in front of the x's. That's all. So if we look at the top of our function, we have a 2 on front of the x, okay? And at the bottom, we've minus x. That means minus 1, essentially. Minus x means minus 1x. So what's 2 divided by minus 1? Yeah, you've got it. It's minus 2. So our horizontal asymptote is y equals minus 2. That will come up this summer because it always comes up. Always comes up. So there's our first 2 marks. Now, they don't always ask for the vertical asymptote, but they always ask for the horizontal asymptote. Check the number in front of your x's. Okay, next. Find the coordinates where the graph of f crosses the x-axis. Crosses the x-axis. Now, this is the x-axis here. So when does our graph cross that x-axis? Now, the main thing we have to realize, like, let's say I pick this coordinate here, just for the laugh. That's the coordinate 5, 0. Here, 10, 0, 11, 0, 12, 0. Y is always 0 when we're crossing the x-axis. So what we've got to do, we're going to make a little equation. So fx, remember, y is fx. People often think they're different things. They are the same. So y equals 0 when we're crossing the x-axis, okay? So I'm going to let 0 equals 2x plus 4 over 3 minus x. And we've got to solve that equation. Now, I was doing this equation with some of my year 13 SLAA students. Now, Tara, if you're watching, okay, you might remember what you said last week when we looked at a question like this. Tara cross-multiplied, which is what we got to do, the 3 minus x over to the 0 and wrote this. 3 minus x equals 2x plus 4. Now, that is not correct. 3 minus x times by 0 is a big fat 0. okay, like so. So we have to solve 0 equals 2x minus 4. That means minus 4 equals 2x. X equals minus 2. Brilliant. So now we know that our graph is going to cut the x-axis at minus 2 right here. So that coordinate must be minus 2, 0. And guys, remember, wrap up your brackets. It's cold out there. Wrap that coordinate up, minus 2, 0. Okay. Often I see people, they just put minus 2, 0 without any brackets. Okay. Now I've already drawn it there. So next bit, find the coordinates where the graph crosses the y-axis. Now remember, anytime we cut the y-axis, the coordinates will be 0, 5, 0, 6, 0, 7, 0, minus 2, always 0 for the x coordinate. So if we want to find the coordinates where we cut the y-axis, we're going to let x equal 0. So 2 times 0 plus 4 over 3 minus 0. So simply, it's just y equals 4 over 3. There's our intercept. So the coordinates where the cross is the y is 0, always 0, 4 over 3, like so. Okay, so let's rub this out here to create a bit more space. Now we've just bagged 4 easy marks, okay, just like that. Now, we've got 4 marks. One final mark is for sketching this graph. Now, obviously, you're going to have a ruler. Please, please, please use a pencil on your first sketch. Now, we're going to put in the asymptotes first. So x equals 3, the vertical asymptote, I'm just going to do it like that. Something like that. You'll be more accurate with your ruler. Or we'll do it as, let's rub that out and do it maybe as a dashed line, which would probably be better. Like so. There's our asymptote. Now, remember, an asymptote, our graph will not cut across that asymptote. That's like an invisible barrier, an electric fence. Now, the horizontal asymptote is y equals minus 2. So I'm going to get this in here. Like so. So there's our asymptotes in. Now we put our coordinates in. Okay, we have minus 2, 0. And I like to do big, fat coordinates. Right? So it gives me a bit more leeway on my graph. And then the coordinate 0, 4 over 3. Well, that's just a little bit over 1. Okay, so like so. There's our 2 coordinates. Now, remember what the reciprocal graph looks like. We want to be close to the asymptote, go through our points, and then get closer to the asymptotes. And on this side, I'm just going to draw a random like so. I'm not too impressed with my work there. Let's do that again. And there is our sketch, 5 marks. I do expect to sketch this summer, okay? So that's our 5 marks on that question, okay? Right. Now, I'm sorry if I can't get to the question. I'm trying to write. I can see there's some questions coming through, but I'm conscious of time for you guys because I know you're super, super busy people. Okay, so let's have a look at this one from 2024. Students lost a ton of marks on this question because they got confused because the IB, typical IB, trying to confuse us. A function is defined by fx. Where did they get these brackets from? Why did they have to do this to us? So first of all, I don't like brackets. I'm going to expand them. So my fx is simply 2x plus 6. And at the bottom is 3x plus 6. I didn't like that because I didn't like the brackets. Now, they're looking for the equation of the horizontal asymptote. I wish they wanted the vertical asymptote as well because it'd be dead easy. The vertical asymptote here, which we can sort of see from the graph anyway, is x equals minus 2. So they don't always ask for that vertical, but they always ask for the horizontal for 1 mark here. Horizontal asymptote, remember what I said, the coefficients in front of the x. It's simple. We know there it's less than 1. So here we go. Write down the horizontal asymptote, y equals 2 over 3. Okay, so that's what we're looking for 1 mark. Y equals 2 over 3. Now, there is more to this question, but again, I'll send you the PDF of all these questions for you to have a look at. I just want to focus on which I know for sure is coming up. Okay, let's have a look at this one here from 2023. Again, non-calculator. It was on question. It was question 2. So should be easy. Now, again, here we go. Look at this here. We have the domain. X does not equal 2. So that means our vertical asymptote down here, if I skip part A, I'll come back to it in a moment. Our vertical asymptote is X equals 2. Okay, that is our asymptote. Okay. Now, the next one, because I see someone asked the question from the last one, why is it 2 over 3? Let's go to the horizontal asymptote. Let's focus. What is the number in front of the X? It's 7. What is the number in front of the X on the bottom of the fraction? It's 2. So that means Y can never equal 7 over 2. Okay, because of that plus 7 and the minus 4, Y is just never going to equal 7 over 2. So that means our horizontal asymptote is Y equals 7 over 2. If this was a normal class and we had a full hour and I had all you guys sitting in front of me, we would go into more in-depth detail on it. But for now, with a quick session, I just want to get you the absolute wins. So that's what we're looking for. It's the coefficients in front of the X's are dividing by each other. If anyone did AQA further maths in year 11 or grade 10, they call this the limiting factor. Okay, so be wary of that. Okay, I see someone has mentioned about AI, SL. Some of these questions, there's a lot of overlap. Remember, 25% of the content of the SLAA is on the SLAI. Now, let's come back to this one. Find the 0 of fx. That's another way of saying, when does this graph cut the x-axis? The 0 of fx. So that means, when does it cut the x-axis? Right, the y coordinate will be 0. So to set this up, like previous question, 7x plus 7 over 2x minus 4. Okay, so you let the 0 of fx when it crosses the x-axis. Cross multiply the 2x minus 4 over the times by 0. 0. So what are we left with? We're left with 0 equals 7x plus 7. Take 7 off both sides, x equals minus 1. So that's the 0. Again, sometimes it's the language of the question where people are a little bit unsure of. Okay? Very, very quickly here. This one here was a little bit unfair, I found. Okay, look at it again. Vertical asymptote, horizontal asymptote, coordinates of x-axis, y-axis. See how these questions repeat once you've done a lot of them? Now, again, look at this. Last one we'll do on this, and then I want to move on to discriminants because that always comes up. Always do some videos on it. Okay, let's have a look at this one. Little bit different. Okay, x here does not equal 2. So the vertical asymptote is x equals 2. If it can't equal 2, that must be our asymptote. X equals 2, the easiest mark ever. Now, this is a bit unfair. Horizontal asymptote. What will y never equal? I mentioned in the last question, y could never equal 7 over 2. Now, in this one here, we don't have the coefficients on the front of the x on the top and 1 on the bottom, but it's pretty sneaky. I've seen students who do some algebraic fraction. So they did this. They did 1 over 1 minus 1 over x minus 2. They did some good algebraic fractions, and then they did this. X minus 2 is the common denominator. Here is x minus 2 minus 1. So that's the same as saying x minus 3 over x minus 2. Good algebra skills there. So what's the coefficient in front of this x? It's 1. Coefficient in front of that x is 1. 1 divided by 1 is 1. So y equals 1. That is the horizontal asymptote. Okay? Now, y can never equal 1 because look up here. It's always 1 subtract something. So y is never going to equal 1. Okay? Now, we'll move on. I'm conscious of our time. We spent a lot. That's the most important one. I'd love to be able to go through more of these questions in more detail. Maybe we can try another time. So I want to move on to this, the discriminant. Now, discriminant here is in our formula book, 2.7. Delta equals b squared minus 4ac. Now, when we have more than one real root, it's greater than 0. If we've got one root, it equals 0. No real roots, less than 0. So that's something that you remember. Okay. Now, most of the time, it's the first or second one. Most of the time, not all of the time. But this is a question. Since I've been teaching the IB, and even the old course before SLAA, it was just a straightforward SL. These questions come up every year, but they often try hide them somewhere in a question. So here's an example of a standalone question. And the reason you're going to spot a discriminant question is because it's a quadratic. And usually in a nice quadratic, like let's say x squared plus 4x, let's say this plus 5. That's just a basic quadratic. And there's one unknown. The one known is the x. That's all. Okay? That's we would do, quadratic formula. Maybe we can factorize, complete the square options. But when we get a quadratic with more than one unknown, 100%, it's discriminant. Now, even writing this is a top tip as an examiner. Quadratic root square has real distinct roots. Find the possible values of k. It has real distinct roots. That means we've got more than one root because it's plural. Real distinct roots. So if I was to write my discriminant, b squared minus 4ac greater than 0, I've got a mark, 1 mark. Even if I don't do anything else, I've got 1 mark. Now, I highly recommend you want the examiner to really like marking your work. So what I would do, be very crystal clear, a equals k minus 1. That's there, right? That's what's in front. The a value is what's in front of the x squared. The b value is what's in front of your x, which is 2. And then your c value is basically what's left over, which is 2k minus 3. So there we have. The examiner loves what you're doing. Okay, if we've got time, I can see, I'll try get back to the reciprocal and the inverse function if we've got some time. Okay, let's do this. Let's substitute all these in, get some more marks. So b squared, so that's 2 squared. And I'm just going to use brackets, right? Because you got to be careful of the negatives. Minus 4 times a, which is k minus 1, times by c, which is 2k minus 3, all greater than 0. There's another mark for us. We have so far guaranteed 2 marks out of the 5. Now here, 2 squared is 4 minus, and I'm going to leave that 4 here, and I'm going to just focus on expanding this bracket here, right? But keep that 4. Don't try and multiply the 4 yet, okay? We want to leave it there. So k times k is 2k squared. K times minus 3 is minus 3k. Minus 1 times 2k is minus 2k. Minus 1 times minus 3, remember, a minus times a minus is a plus 3. Now I'm going to multiply this all out. So it's 4 minus 4 times 2k squared is minus 8k squared. Now minus 3k minus 2k is minus 5k. Minus 4 times minus 5k plus 20k. Minus 4 times 3 is minus 12, all greater than 0. Okay, let's simplify this. We've got minus 8k squared plus 20k. 4 minus 12 minus 8, all greater than 0. Now, what are we going to divide everything by to make our lives supremely easier? Recognize 8 and 20. Remember times tables? I'm going to divide everything by minus 4. Now, minus 8 times divided by minus 4 is 2. 2k squared. 20k divided by minus 4 is minus 5k. Minus 8 divided by minus 4 is plus 2. Now, watch what's happening next. Less than 0. Why less than 0? It was greater than 0. When you divide an inequality, okay, by a negative, the sign flips around. Now you've got a quadratic. Another thing that always comes up on your exams. Can you factorize quadratics? I'll do it really quickly here because I want to go on to the next discriminant here. It'll be 2k, k. I'm trying to get to minus 5k, minus 2, minus 1. I need a factor pair of positive 2, minus 2, minus 1. Hence, very quickly, k would be half, k would equal 2. So k must be less than 2. K must be greater than a half. Okay, that's another topic, quadratics. Know how to factorize. Okay, super important. Super, super, super important. But we need to go on. I want to show you a few more discriminants here. Okay. And this is a question from 2020, the old SL course. Find the values of k so that gx has no real roots. They don't often ask this, but I have a feeling they may ask it this summer. So for no real roots, b squared minus 4ac less than 0 for no real roots. Okay, no real roots. There's a mark, right? There is a nice mark. Now, okay, gx, what is gx? Gx is minus fx plus k. So be careful, right? Gx, watch this, it's minus fx. Now, fx is minus x squared. It's always these minuses that catch people out. Plus 4x plus 5 plus k. A random k, that's what gx is. So let's write this gx out a little bit better down here. So gx will be minus x squared, that is an x squared, minus 4x minus 4x, minus 5 plus k. So we've got it sorted. We've two unknowns in one equation. A equals the value in front, the coefficient in front of x squared, 1. B is what's in front of the x, minus 4. And C, it's what's left over. C equals minus 5 plus k. We've got to substitute them all in to our inequality, our discriminant, b squared. So it's minus 4 squared, minus 4 times a, which is 1, times by minus 5 plus k. And that has to be less than 0. Another inequality incoming. Okay, minus 4 squared, remember? 16. Okay, so it's minus 4 times minus 5 is plus 20. Minus 4 times k is minus 4k, less than 0. So 36 minus 4k is less than 0. Now, I'm going to throw the 4k onto the other side. So 36 is less than 4k. That means divide both sides by 4. 9 is less than k, or k is greater than 9. Watch out for those discriminants. Okay, there's a couple more questions there. Again, I'll send them on to you. We're up to nearly a half an hour, and I know you probably have lots and lots of questions, lots and lots. But let's go on to this one here, integration. So first of all, you're definitely going to get a reciprocal graph. Secondly, there's definitely a discriminant. Okay, definitely a discriminant incoming. And I feel definitely this year we have an integration by substitution. Okay, the shaded area here is bounded by the curve. Now let's have a look at this here. If we want to find the area under that curve, now watch this. Okay, to get a mark is recognizing, right? The area, let's get our integral sign. We have to integrate this function, x over x squared plus 2. Do not forget dx from, this is obviously 0 here, and this is c, from 0 to c. Just do that, guys. We have, for sure, our first M1 mark. And we actually haven't really done anything. All we've done is recognize that we have to integrate. Now, don't forget the dx. People keep forgetting. If you forget the dx, you don't get your M1 mark. And now, how do we integrate this? This is not easy, right? You look at that and say, oh, hang on, how do I do this? It's not in my formula book. But it's integration by substitution. We're going to let u equal something. And whatever you let u equal, man, it must be super, super easy. Okay, so let's pick. What shall we pick? I'm going to let u equal x squared plus 2. Dead simple. I'm going to differentiate that. Du dx equals 2x. Nice so far. Now, the reason we're doing this is we want to fill u's into our integration and get rid of x's. Okay? Now, I'm going to swap this dx. Now, do a little bit of cross multiplying. I call this the cross multiply swap. So I've got my du, and I'm going to swap up the dx and take down the 2x. So it's du over 2x equals dx. That's what we've got. It's a bit like doing this. 8 divided by 2 is 4. But I could just swap those 2 and 4. I call this the cross multiply swap. Okay, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. 8 divided by 4 equals 2. They can just interchange. So let's see how we have now. To find this area, we've got our integral sign. Okay, we've got our x on the top. Instead of x squared plus 2, we've got u. And instead of dx, right, we've got du over 2x. This is the perfect scenario because what we want is these x's canceling each other out, okay? X divided by x is just 1. So what we're now left with this integral is 1 over 2u du. Now, again, I want to make life even more easy for myself. I'm going to factorize out the half, and I made a mistake. I forgot to put 1 over u when I did a similar question on either the TikTok or Instagram on it. So, but I forgot to put 1 over u. Absolute wally. Okay, so now you will know from your formula booklet, the integration of 1 over x is ln x. So the integration of this is half ln u du. What am I talking about, du? Oh my gosh, it's getting late. Okay, not the plus c. And we want to call in, where was our u? We tell you, come on, you're back in the game. Substitution. Half ln, instead of u, x squared plus 2 plus c. Okay, now there's more to the question where we have to find the c, but it's making sure we recognize. Let's get one more question done here. Okay, this is 2024. Now it's a section, it's question 8. So it's in the section B, the hard questions. And here's a top tip. If you're ever given something that's differentiated, you have to integrate. You have to integrate. Okay? So let's try integrate this because we want fx. Now look at that. Let's just get our first mark. Okay. We want to integrate 2x plus 2 over x squared plus 2x plus 2 dx. Looks absolutely disgusting. Horrible. So it must be integration by substitution. Now we want to let you something nice and easy. It's nearly always the bottom. U equals x squared plus 2x plus 2. But guys, remember, even if that's all we did, we've got m1. Just for showing we recognize to integrate that function, but don't forget your dx. No dx, you don't get the mark. Okay, let's differentiate this. Du dx is 2x plus 2. Perfect. Look what we have at the top. This is magic. So now I'm going to do a little cross multiply swap. Keep the du. 2x plus 2 here on the bottom, and that equals dx. Okay, brilliant. Let's go. We're going to rewrite our integration. We have 2x plus 2 on the top. On the bottom, we have u. And instead of dx, we have du over 2x plus 2. This is the dream scenario. These bad boys cancel each other out. Okay, so we're left with 1 over u du. And what's the integration of 1 over u? Same as the other question. ln u plus c, and we'll put our u in here, which is ln x squared plus 2x plus 2 plus c. Recognize I'm using the modulus around the u just to look like a pro, okay? Now, I've got more questions in there for you guys to practice. So if you've signed up, if you register properly for the webinar, I'll send you an email with everything you need here. I'm conscious that I'm keeping you guys too long. Now, obviously, you would have seen if you signed up, I am running starting next week, Wednesday, the 1st of April, starting at 8 p.m. Dubai time, and then on Saturdays at 5 p.m. Dubai time, okay, a 7-week crash course. Okay, so it's It's in depth. I'm not going to lie. It's pretty intense. Let me stop screen here. Get back to see you guys. Yeah. So it's 7 weeks, intense session, twice a week, 1 hour lessons, 1 hour lectures, where we spend more time going through all the questions. Will be done on Zoom so people can actually speak and ask some more questions. So we'll do a big focus on calculator. I know we ran out of time here this evening to try look at the calculator. I've got my calculator here. I use the TI Inspire, the king of calculators. It really is unbelievably beneficial. So if you'd like to sign up for my 7-week crash course, it would be great to have a squad together for the next 7 weeks leading right up to the night. We do a session the night before paper 1 and 1 before paper 2. Now, let me drop my... I'm always looking for followers, guys. Always need a few followers in the chat. My Instagram. And now, as for TikTok, complete noob when it comes to TikTok. There we go. And I really appreciate all their comments. I'm sorry, guys, I can't get to answer all the questions. But I like that comment there. Wishing luck to the Irish lads. Yes, absolutely. This big, massive football match for me tonight. Guys, it's been great. I think we have had nearly 60 people. Really appreciate everyone turning up. I will try do more of this because it was quite good. It's quite good. I liked it. Really appreciate all the questions coming in. Guys, I know as well, people here in the UAE, let's hope the exams do take place. I'm sure they will. I'm more confident than anything that they will. And I hope everyone who's in the region, who's tuned in this region is staying safe. And again, great. Australia, Tunisia, Austria, Milan, amazing. AC Milan. I hope you're an AC Milan fan. They are my favorite team since back in the day with Marco van Basten. Okay, guys, I will let you go. Stay safe. Have a great evening. And I'm going to go and get some dinner. I need some good food before watching this football match tonight. Please think of me watching the football. Okay, guys, good luck. The recording of this will go to you, and I will send a PDF of all the questions and all my handwritten solutions. Okay, good night. Thank you very much.